Joseph, welcome to the Coffee Pot. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Divorced woman says marriage is like making a deal with the devil. The devil being the man who modern women claim to be marrying. Guys, you're going to watch in real time women convincing other women to divorce their husbands in the comment section. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
Thing I've discovered is I really don't like myself within this institution of marriage. Like I don't think I've ever been able just to be my natural self and be comfortable within the confines and of marriage. I've had to alter, change. I've had to compromise myself, compromise what I believe in, my values. I've had to sacrifice. I've had to work so hard. I've had to give up so much. It's like a deal with the devil. I look in the mirror and I don't like, who am I? What have I become? It wasn't supposed to be like this, but it's because I believed all these made up fantasies and lies about what marriage is going to be and how it was going to be this benefit, this wonderful thing for me: safety, protection, love, identity. And the thing about it is, all those things are beautiful, but you don't need to be married to have them. You don't have to be married to be safe or protected. You don't have to be married to be loved or to love. You don't have to be married to be committed to somebody. I just know with every fiber of my being that this is not for me.
All right. So here's the thing. I actually agree with a lot of what she said in the very beginning. But think about this. The ideal marriage for modern women is a fairy tale. And who lied to you? Maybe it was Disney who lied to these women. Was it movies that they watched? Did they believe that that's what marriage was? The way she describes marriage there, you would think that she's describing a fairy tale. There is no area of your life where you don't lose yourself or become a different version of yourself when you're trying to accomplish something very difficult. Here's what I mean. Take, for instance, she wasn't talking about marriage. If you just heard her talking about building a business and you heard her talk about, I had to sacrifice. I didn't really know who I was. I gave it everything. I had to work so hard. It was like making a deal with the devil every day I spent working on this business. People would be okay with that. But who lied to these women to make them think that marriage wasn't something that they need to actually work on, that it wasn't actually difficult? And I think it is good that the women who think that marriage is this thing where you're going to be happy 24/7, if you believe that's what it is, if you're like Tia Mary and thinking, I'm chasing happiness, and the other women who agree with her, then you probably shouldn't be married, because it is going to take work and effort. She mentions a lot there about like, oh, you don't have to be married to be in love. Yeah, you don't. But I hear children in the background, and you do need a husband, a man, to raise those kids. And we are watching what society would look like if women were left to structure it the way they would want to. There'll be more single mother households. And you might say, oh no, we can raise the sons together. Are they raising the sons together, or are they fighting over the sons and the daughters? It's a mess.
And honestly, I don't see how it would be something that would be beneficial to any woman, to be honest. I feel radicalized almost because I'm so different. I'm 100% different from who I was 17 years ago when I got married. And I'm a different person almost from the person I was 3 months ago. Like I feel like my eyes have been opened and I see clearly for like the first time in all of these years. This is not the life for me.
Of course you're different from the way you were when you were 17, or 17 years ago, my bad. 17 years ago. Of course you're different. Who's the same and who hasn't changed from 17 years ago? That is a part of marriage, is that you change over with time. But check out some of these comments. You'll see chicks here literally stating that marriage benefits men and not women. Top comment here says marriage is comfortable for men, but uncomfortable for women in most cases. Here's somebody else who says we were sold a false narrative. By who? Somebody else here added, marriage is an illusion of patriarchy designed to maintain male power. And the problem is we were conditioned from birth Thank you for saying this. Somebody else here says, don't stop talking about it. You are telling my story. You're braver than me. To these chicks on TikTok, they think to themselves, there's some great revolution happening. But the truth is 86% of people who marry get remarried. Somebody else here added, my husband left for a week and I realized I would rather be alone. I was happier, more content. Everything stayed clean, didn't eat as much. I'm afraid. So she was happier because the house was cleaner and she didn't have to deal with her husband. And after that week, she was thinking, wow, I was so much happier. Yes, you probably were happier without having to cooperate with somebody else. Somebody else here responded back to her and says, the longer you stay, the more resentment will build and change who you are. But how about your vows? Didn't you vow through sickness and health? Didn't you say, even if I'm not happy? We need to change those things if this is the case. Here's somebody else who says, oh yeah, you're a victim, right? This guy's calling her out. Oh yeah, you're a victim. He's being sarcastic for getting into something you said yes to. So were they tricked into it? And how come modern women can use the excuse of being tricked when it comes to marriage? So she actually responded to this. She says, of what I should do now that I realize this. She's asking for advice from a bunch of divorced women of how she should move forward on TikTok with her marriage. And somebody responded back and says, I think you already know the answer. They're encouraging this woman to break her family and divorce her husband. Another person who says, I thought it would be a partnership, a team effort. Far from it. Another person who says, I'm currently married 12 years and I feel it's time to let go. So we're watching another woman in real time divorcing. He literally doesn't want me, but doesn't want anyone else to have me. It's crazy. Another person who says, loving yourself is the first and most purest form of love. I think women are conditioned to give. Are they? Are they conditioned to give? Is that what we see? That they're givers of resources? Really? Goes on to say, without pouring into their own cups. Somebody else here added, such a real post. I've been married twice and felt that way for decades. Marriage is an awful institution for women. You just lose yourself. Should you lose yourself completely in marriage? No. But is there going to be a sense of self that is lost? Yes, because your identity is going to be tied into that marriage to an extent, to a degree. The healthy advice would be make sure you try to maintain a degree of self within that marriage, right? That you do things you enjoy, that marriage would bring joy to you. Here's somebody else who says, a deal with the devil is perfectly said. I've always felt I was living someone else's life, but now 27 years later, I have none of the things I was promised. Somebody else here added, I feel like we were sold the same story on motherhood, and I didn't realize that until it was much too late. Here's somebody else who says, I remember the days I had to cook after working a 12-hour shift. To a man who knocked out 4 hours before me, I now cherish my freedom. So she's already divorced her man. We hear that story, and the logical thing to think is, okay, did he help out once in a while? If he didn't, of course, we live in the day and age, if both people are working, somebody should help in the kitchen. But I bet you there's some things he looks back and remembers of things and ways he was taken advantage of and wasn't appreciated. Goes on to say, it's so painful. This is somebody else responding back to that last chick, to come home and cook for someone who has been chilling at home the whole day. And she put, and they still have the nerve to cheat on you. Somebody else here added, I so appreciate you sharing what the truth ends up being for so many girls and women. We're brainwashed from such a young age. Well, what's crazy to me is, as much as they will claim that they're brainwashed and forced into marriage, you look around, you see more and more women who still want marriage. They still want it. They just don't want the work and the complicated version of what marriage has turned into. It's not going to change. It's not. Be wary, gentlemen. If you're a man who values marriage, first of all, you should be in Brew Brothers. There's just no way that you shouldn't be arming yourself with as much information as possible if you're a man who values marriage today. Click the link into the top of the comment section if that is you. Guys, listen, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.